Okay, greetings everyone, and thank you for the lovely introductory fly from the team at BD Ren. I'd like to welcome all the attendees and panelists to the General Assembly session of APAN53. For those of you not familiar with the APAN meetings, at the end of a week, we have had a very large number of sessions, 5 parallel streams, 5 days, many speakers, many sessions, and it is impossible for any person to attend all of them. But it is useful for the APAN members and broader community to understand just the sheer variety of what's happened over the last week. So we use the General Assembly to summarize by all the session chairs what has occurred in all their sessions, very briefly, very quickly, and to highlight any future opportunities that they might be thinking about. And then we conclude the General Assembly with a farewell to our beloved hosts at BD Ren this time, and welcome our future hosts for the next APAN meeting, APAN54. We will move as quickly as we possibly can, and I will try and keep things close to schedule, so please do try. To all the panelists, please keep your presentations as short as possible. I'll invite Mr. Chehu Cheng from APANNIC to begin proceedings. Please go ahead and share.
Thank you, Marcus. Share my screen. I only have 3 slides. My name is Chehu Cheng. I'm going to do the report for APANNIC, what we are doing or what we have done at APAN53. And firstly, as you all know, APANNIC is the IP address registry. We do internet development work as well, especially training. And you know, the reason why we are here, because like most of you are our members, a lot of universities are our members too. We started to re-engage, APAN community like 5 years ago, and now we do training every time. And at the same time, APANNIC is a member of APANNIC, so that's why we can join EduROM and offer our service to eligible APANNIC Academy users. We are trying to relaunch the service so that more users can enjoy this, and also we are using connectivity to APANNIC. And, we mentioned it quite a bit, but we are going to join EduGain through AAF for easy access to APANNIC by our community after, the successful IAM system migration scheduled next week, fingers crossed. And, recently we started to collaborate more with Y Project. You probably heard a lot about like APIDT, APANNIC Foundation, and ArenaPack. AIII, Soy Asia, API program this week, APANNIC all involved. So that's why we're here. And regarding what we did this time, of course, we sponsored the events as usual, and we have Jamie to be the chair of APAN53 technical community. So if you have any complaints about the technical setup, you can go to him. But I think it all went well. And we also have a new colleague, Atwa, joining the physical sessions in Dhaka because he's still based in Dhaka. So we are very glad that we have a representative at the physical sessions of this APAN53. And we also had a special session about our historical resources, and the Kala, Pupudu, and Awa did the presentation. And for the training, we have Dave to do the IPv6 deployment and address planning this time. And last time when we did it, because we clashed with network engineering workshop, so we only had 2 attendees. This time we try our best not to clash with network engineering workshop, so we had 28, which was of course very good. Jamie is also the co-chair of security working group and presented our own vulnerability reporting program. And that's what we do to improve our security. And also I did the Arena Pack updates. I actually chaired Arena Pack updates at the network engineering workshop with speakers from Y Project and IDRAN. And the last slide, the key messages from us. I think the very important message would be the historical IPv4 address holders over here. If you want to continue to use the resources, please come to us. And at the same time, of course, when you have association with us, you can enjoy our services as well. And we have academy to provide training, not just instructor lab, but also self-paced. And we're also going back to face-to-face mode gradually and slowly. Hopefully, we can meet you face-to-face as well. And we are recruiting community trainers to help us to do more training on the ground in local languages. And we are hiring not just staff, but also community trainers. If you are interested in doing training or helping us to develop training content, please go to this link. And of course, we strive to have more partnership with all of you over here. That's all I want to say. Thank you. Back to you, Marcus.
Thank you, Chehu. Thank you again to APANNIC for your great partnership and also, of course, for your very generous sponsorship. Let me pass over to, I believe, Yunjin at Tainstar CC, another great partner and sponsor and supporter through the Asia Connect projects.
Hello,
Yunjin,
everyone.
over to you.
Yeah, hello, everyone. So give me a second. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Injun from Tainstar CC. On behalf of Tainstar CC and Asia Connect project, I will brief the Asia Connect activities during the APAN53. Asia Connect is supporting APAN53 as a sponsorship at gold level. It was a great chance to meet all APAN community. During this APAN meeting, Asia Connect had 2 meetings. We had an Asia Connect governors meeting, which one is a closed one on 7th March, Monday. 19 Asia Connect governors among 24 partners participated. And the European delegation was also attended to share the project progress and the plans for the future. The Asia Connect project meeting was open to all the APAN community on 8th March, Tuesday, chaired by Louis Hyun Choi, project manager of Asia Connect project. We shared our ongoing corporate proposal and also the new awarded program, which was selected last December last year. And in this meeting, a total 61 people attended. And we also introduced new program plans for corporate proposals. I'd like to give you the message to all APAN community. Please keep following Asia Connect project at the website and our social media channels. We will announce important new calls and event information for RNE communities. It was a great chance to meet all APAN53 participants, and we will continue to collaborate the APAN for next events on. Thanks to APAN53 committee and the APAN Secretariat and all board members, and see you at the next APAN meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Yunjin, and thank you to Tainstar CC and Asia Connect for your great support. Another wonderful partner of APAN is the Australian Access Federation, and I'll invite Terry Smith to talk about the sessions he helped coordinate.
Afternoon all. I hope you can see my screen. I've got one slide. So this week at APAN53, we ran sessions on 3 days, Monday, Wednesday and Thursday. On Monday, it was Federation updates, so we got a feeling for what's happening in the federations around the Asia Pacific region, and there's some great work happening. We had updates from New Zealand, Japan, India for both EduRoam and Federation. Thailand, who was about to join EduGain as a federation, which is great. Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, and of course the Australian Access Federation. On the Wednesday, we ran a number of presentations. We had a presentation from Hideki Goto on what's happening with EduRoam and open roaming. It's always interesting to hear what he's up to. We had a look at federated single logout, what it is, why it's so difficult, and why should you really bother. And there was a lot of interest in that particular activity, single logout difficult. We also have a project, an Asia Connect project starting very shortly, the iFi X-Man project, which is again to promote and grow federations across the Asia Pacific region. It's a great opportunity for small federations, small NRENs to provide new services to their communities. We had an update of what's happening at the global level at Refeds and EduGain, and finally a discussion on multi-factor authentication and higher levels of identity assurance and how it affects access to restricted or confidential content and data. On Thursday, we tried something a little different in the morning. We had a discussion where we invited folk from the Biocommons area along to meet the folk from the NRENs and Federation identities. And we had a really good discussion about what it is that the Biocommons people need from identity, authentication and authorization. So it was a great discussion. Then after that, we had some more presentations. We looked at seamless access, a global discovery service, and a thing called FTICS, which is logging and reporting, so we can actually see what's being used in the Federation space. We had a really good week, lots of good input, lots of good, exciting, motivated people involved, but we'd really love to get back together face to face. So we're all looking forward to that. Thanks, Marcus, back to you.
Thank you, Terry. Absolutely, a face-to-face meeting would be very welcome, I think, by many of us. Can I now invite the chair of the Network Engineering Workshop and the APAN Network Operations Centre, the wonderful Kanishi-san. Can you please make your report? I'm not hearing any audio from you, Kanishi-san. I'm also not seeing any video from you. Let me, oh, here we go. Is your audio okay, Kanishi-san? Let me just give Kanishi-san a second or two to get his audio sorted. We are seeing your slides. Kanishi-san, could you maybe put in the chat if you're working on your audio? Else we might leave ahead and give you a chance to fix your audio issues. We have video from you now. But still no audio. After having spent a whole week in Zoom, we find always the awkward moment when the audio decides to stop working. Okay, I will give you 5 minutes. I will go to the next working group and we'll come back to you while you work on that. Can I invite, I'm not sure who's doing the report for the medical working group, whether that's Dr. Moriyama-san or Komatsu-san. Who's doing the medical?
Hi.
Dr. Moriyama-san.
Hi, nice to meet you. Okay, just wait a while. I will share my slide. Okay. Right. Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can.
Yes, so thank you. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Komatsu Moriyama, the chair of Medical Working Group. This is a timetable of Medical Working Group in APAN53. Actually, there are 15 programs in total. I suppose that this is the largest number of programs we have experienced. The new programs in the yellow column is a new program. Whose organizers are all know our medical working group activities through the last APAN. So I really appreciate all APAN Secretariat and also APAN members. So this is a summary of our working groups. In total, 13 sessions and 2 workshops were held. And 110 sites were connected from various countries, from Asian Pacific regions and other areas, such as the US, Myanmar, Malaysia, or something like that. And in total, more than 600 participants joined and enjoyed our discussion via Fuber and YouTube. This is the photos of reports such as rural healthcare, dentistry, traditional medicine, and surgery. So I really, again, I really thank you all for joining us and enjoyed our discussion. So if someone are interested in our activities and would like to have some programs in our working groups, please find us via Google or some other procedure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Moriyama-san. That is an impressive program and a large number of attendees. That's wonderful to see. I'll see if Konishi-san has fixed his audio. Not sounding promising yet. Still no luck. All right, I'll keep going through the program, Konishi-san. We can bring you in anytime. Let me move to the various working groups and other activities to start with. Can I invite Virachai Tampapat from Thailand to talk about both agriculture and open data?
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I will do the report for 2 working groups and 1 special session under the agricultural working group. So it's open and sharing data working group under the enabling research through open science and open data and agricultural working group. with the changing name from the big data and AI to the rural hybridization. My name is Virashai Tanpipat, and sorry, that didn't put to, okay. For the open and sharing data working group, we decided not to have so many sessions. We would like to discuss more and get things moving forward. So we have the first session, we have 6 speakers with 18 participants. And the second session, we just get the full discussion of how we would like to move it forward. So we got the action plan actually. So here, our action plan for the before the APAN54, we agreed to collaborate with the UNESCO, STEPAN, the Science, Technology, Engineering, Innovation Policy, Asia and Asia Pacific Network. And the most important one is the next one that we need to get the support from all the working group chair and NRENs to identify the open and sharing data champion within APAN working group and NRENs to participate in the next APAN meeting in our session, so we can identify the representative from each group and possible key contact in each country, so we can move on to get the how to implement it, how to get the data within the new. We also agreed to get this website data.apan.net, which Marcus will be the one who set it up, and Junichi Onami from NII will help to develop it. But we have to do the structure. We have to discuss later, and that will come up shortly. But the time frame is before APAN54, and later we have to also agree to set up a regional harvester and data discovery services, different kind within the website. Start to collect the resources, data sharing governance that Suhaimi also mentioned that we need to cover, which is all of us agree. And we also agree to get the more contribution from Confederal of Open Access Repository Asia member to contribute more. And if everything is going smoothly, we hope that in APAN54 we can run some workshops at different needed topics. And before I go to another the working group report, as mentioned that we need the support from all the working group chair and NRENs in our effort to do this, reduce this pain point of the data and open and sharing data within APAN community. The next one, this one is under agricultural working group. It's a rural hybridization, and then we have only 3 speakers, but very interesting. It's going into now. The one that I would have mentioned is the digital clone of the crops. It's a new technology with the multiverse that University of Tokyo, Professor Wai Guang would like to introduce. But the problem is that it's going to be a lot of data that you have to process and simulate. So we'll see the development from this one, and we get the smart farming from the Kubota, Thailand, to explain how they're helping the agricultural increase the agricultural products in Thailand. And very interesting with the Advanced ICT project collaboration in rural area by Masayuki Sang, which also they have 5G couldn't handle his data yet. So that's going to be very challenging. And then with the key messages from this session is that the sharing of experiences and of the experiments and implementation of advanced farming technology with the IoT, big data, AI, machine learning, deep learning under the data farming. So they collect a lot of data, and then how to handle the big data with the good platform. Okay, and then doing the new metaverse idea of the crop digital cloning to simulate the growth of the precision farming to be how can be the maximized or the optimized products before you do it in the real world, so in the physical world. Now they're trying to move to this simulation world, but you need a lot of data and then very fast. I don't know how fast the computer is, but the professor said that very, very fast, so they can do it. And we exchange experience how to use the technology in the good implementation methods. And this is good example from Thailand, Kubota, Thailand. And then we move on to the agricultural working group. This time we have 5 speakers, and we have exchanged knowledge and experiences. The key messages are enhancing sustainable farming should focus on 3 topics: economic, social, and environmental interests. The wetland is in Bangladesh is a very important protected area that need to be carefully managed because it's the main food source and environmental security. And the real from sorry, I have to look at his name again. Professor Dr. Harunan Rashid. Also, I believe he has a keynote speaking on as well. I mentioned that this the way out, the real implementations of strategic plan with a national and international commitment along the open and sharing data is a must. The full cooperation and collaboration are needed. And also, BD REN would like to participate at the first NREN that showing the interest to participate with the open and sharing data in before the next APAN54. So I hope that all NRENs and all the working groups would support us and help us in this, making it real. And the last but not least, the use of the data and technology for accurate crop price prediction. This is from India. That they think that it's good idea, that they think that for the pricing, if you could forecast and predict correctly, then you can prevent the loss, you can increase a lot of things. But the problem is the data cleansing, that the data that have been input into the model not that good quality. Thank you very much. It's all my report this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chai. That was great. Lots of good activities. Konishi-san, have you got your audio? You're muted right now.
Mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead with your report.
Okay. And my presentation. Select. I'm sorry. Can you hear my slide?
Not yet. I'm not seeing slides yet.
Not yet. Yes. Yes. Can you show my slide?
Yes, I can see them now.
Okay. Yes. I'm sorry to trouble lots. And we had a network engineering workshop yesterday on the day before yesterday, 2 days. And this is a short report of the network engineering session. We have 4 sessions. One is a network plan. Francis Lee chairs the session. And the second is Arena Park Chief Chen. And the third one, network technology, Sato, APAN JP. And the fourth is a network update, Rizonwi Summit. And all presentation materials are already uploaded on the program of APAN-JP. And shortly, I'll talk about the presentation we had. Market Internet too showed, the Persona update, new version of Persona will come soon. And operating system Debian or Ubuntu as a first choice. This is very important information for the programmers or the supercomputing events. And second, Jennifer, Indiana University, said, APONet transport are more than just a network. And she developed net sage program analyzing, visualizing of persona data, flow data, and so on, and can provide better performance and support of the science. And these days, also Giant said the same thing, flow data should be analyzed. And the third topic is the, ePOPs. He made a presentation about the cable systems at the backbone committee. At this work APAN meeting, he joined and made a presentation about the cable systems. He's working for Singapore NUCC right now, where he lives in Canada. And many cable systems are emerging. And that's why we should select a good combination of the cable systems for the better network. And Kojima and Torigoe made a presentation about the JGN and cyber physical system. This combination will work for beyond 5G eras. And 5G, beyond 5G is a keyword of the JGN or NICT. And the fifth speaker, Patrick Tsui, JUCC, made a presentation about the Harnet R&D node. They Harnet worked for HKOX, but they stopped the operation of HKOX, and their facility are now using for peering with NRANs and cloud services. And the second session is chaired by Jeff Chen and ArenaPack backbone update. And ArenaPack network backbone is now working for resilience among APAN member countries. And because, the cable systems in Asia region, South Asia region, are reliability is not so good, but that's why by using ArenaPack network, we have more resilience through Gorex. And the second talk is ArenaPack Indonesia guy. IDN will work for, will connect to ArenaPack backbone soon. And they want to work for seminar work, telemedicine, and 10 Asia Connect program. The third talk is Kyomezu Funsi. He worked for APRP satellite network for human resource development, and their activity will be done under the APIDT or APIE foundations. And Keiko Okawa worked for Human Resource Development 2 Soy Asia program, and this Soy Asia program will be granted by APIDT program under APIDT, APIE, Asia Pacific Internet Engineering. And also, Jeff Chen is now working for APANNIC Academy. And this activity will be worked jointly with wide projects and others. And anyway, education, remote education activity will be emerged, will be strengthened through the thanks of the fund, APIDT fund. And Cindy of Tsinghua University made a very interesting talks and contribution by academic network are expected in this within 10 years. Every 10 years, he wrote, new important protocol are developed, and we don't have any solution right now. But these days, Google and Facebook, their original activity has become bigger and bigger, and centralized characters are emerging. This centralized management is critical for APAN community or internet community. That's why contribution by academic networks are expected. And second talks is in Tampa, Alliance, New Zealand, manners, why manners are required. And collaboration is a key role. And the third topic is Korean. Korean worked for SDN activities, and now they started an AI-based network management system and container orchestration. They are also become very important topic. Fourth topic is quite new from Patch D or 10cc. Lesson learned from the migration, pop migration in Singapore, and they have some difficulty to move within the same building from one floor to another floor. And what he learned is, careful order to telecom is critical. But Pachri worked for Korea Telecom before he becomes to 10cc. But he said, careful work with telecom is critical in this relocation activities. And India guy made a presentation about fibers itself. Rare metal are doped fibers, and that has realized the better performance, better optical amplifier for broadband communication. Still, fiber is being researched and improves the quality. And the fourth session, Giant made a presentation about the update, and he said, Guy Robert said, 800 gigabps is now available with current Infinera tools, Infinera box, and high baud rate is 3296 gigabaud. And new tools, network management and traffic analysis. As I said in the former sessions, traffic analysis, especially for flow checking, is critical. And also segment routing are being experimented. The second talk is on Akashi, SciNet, and AI. Transition to new SciNet 6 systems, 400 gigabits nationwide. Within Japan, all prefectures are connected 400G, and 5G mobile, and internationally or 200 gigabps or more. And also high availability DDoS mitigation systems. Anika Gupta, next generation campus network is, he made a presentation, and he clarified the current shortage of legacy campus network and propose a network design for improving something, availability telemetry or something like that. The fourth talk is Simon Green. He probably you have a lot about APONet, but his presentation material clarify the configuration of APONet and others. And in Singapore, Singaren add Equinix, another switch for resilience, and also rerouting VLAN are critical for the resilience of international links. Takatoshi Ikeda made a presentation about persona history, development, and plan to adopt next generation persona 5. Thank you very much. Is it okay?
Thank you very much, Kanishi-san. Let me move on to the next working group. That would be Eculture. Farida, are you able to report and share?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Great.
Hi.
Go ahead with your report.
Okay, let me share. Okay, can you see it now?
Not yet. Nope.
Not yet. Hold and shift to select. No, just this one. Not always. You can't see it? It's already on. Oh dear.
I'm not seeing any slides. You can just talk to the slides. That's okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll try to make sure it works. Okay, we had the Eculture meeting on Tuesday, 8th of March. We had 2 sessions. We had 4 presentations, and one of them is actually a live walkthrough of an exhibition, art exhibition. It's called Sensoria from Penang at Malaysia. And it was headed by 3 presenters, namely Safia Najwa, Dr. Tetriana, and Prof. Hasnun. It was interactive, and they showed quite a few aspects of the exhibition, because they had about 11 artists who are actually academics at the University of Science Malaysia. So yearly academics are invited to have an exhibition portraying or promoting their area of expertise. The other one we had is by Chris Pang. He is actually from Nanyang Polytechnic, and his topic was on Soren, a chat box as a pedagogical agent to restore immediacy during the pandemic. One of the complaints that students have is that unlike face-to-face, they feel a bit lost. There is no immediate answer or response, and it's not similar to a live teacher. So this one could talk back to them. It is a chatbot, and students do find it a lot better, and it fills that gap. Okay, and the third is actually from Prof. Hank and team. It is on the Flip Museum. Oh, there. Okay, it's from the Flip Museum. This is a grant they got from the AUA grant, and they had a workshop with that as well. And they had 5 other museums coming in to show a bit of their. I think most of them are videos. There are a couple walkthrough as well, and one of the main idea is actually to form a museum working group. And this is not so much as a big museum, more like small museums, university museums, and perhaps exhibitors as well as galleries. And the fourth is actually, the fourth is actually on live languages. This is interesting because they are trying, it's a work in progress to come up with an interpreter of medical terms, and it will cover hopefully about 100 First Native languages, and hopefully this can be actually applied to other native or international languages to share similar terms across the world. So that is really interesting. And following that, we had the Eculture meeting. There is talk that perhaps Soren, a chat box, can come into Sensoria, the exhibition. If they could, work together, that would be wonderful. We hope that the co-curating Flip Museum formation of a museum working group can work, and we did offer to them if they would like to use our APAN platform. And then following that, Andrew talked about a bit of the Asia Connect funding that we have, which I think we are still hoping to be able to talk more about it later. Okay, so we had about 22 participants in the session, and that is really wonderful. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Farida. Always an interesting working group.
Thank you.
Demonstrations there. Can I invite Eric to report on the Disaster Management Working Group?
Thank you, Marcus.
I see your slides.
Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone. Eric BN, reporting the Disaster Mitigation Working Group activities. 2 sessions were held on Monday. About 40 participants, including around 10 staying not much longer in the sessions. We had a new co-chair on board from this meeting, who is the new director of Franz Leon of the ASTI of the Philippines. Participants comes from 15 partner countries, and 8 presentations were delivered in the 2 sessions, 6 case study, and also the activity report, including, according to the hazard type, including the storm surge and tsunami, flood, fire haze monitoring, drought, and also disaster management by remote sensing data. And we have a talk from ASTI reporting about the disaster mitigation related initiative. And the chair, Eric Yan, myself, reports the status of regional collaborations. In general, the Disaster Mitigation Working Group capacity building is one of the key objectives in recent years by 2 primary approaches: sharing of case studies and also resources, as well as training and workshop. So then according to the case studies, the regional services and also infrastructure will be improved by leveraging the outcomes from the case study and also collaboration with other initiatives in this region. For example, the collaboration with EGIS, European-funded Open Science Cloud project, ASEAN activities, and also UNESCO-related activities, etc. And the working group has several action items from previous meeting. The first one is keep on supporting more case studies, covering more hazard types in different partners, extending the application scope to agriculture or other fields according to the partners' local needs, and moving towards open science to facilitate shared data, knowledge, tools, everything from case studies. And we also agree that we should promote more collaboration between the disaster mitigation working group with other APAN working groups, for example, agriculture working group, open and sharing data working group, as well as, for example, the advanced research platform cloud working group, etc. So that's the summary of the working group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. I'm not sure if we have someone from the IoT working group here. We have had a couple of last minute apologies. Otherwise, I'll move on to the security working group. Kasahara-san.
Yes.
Can you please go ahead with your report?
Yes. I'm Yoshaki Kasahara, Chair of Security Working Group. We have a presentation session on Tuesday, 2 19-minute sessions, and we had 6 presentations, including is my
your slide sharing just stopped? It's back.
Okay, sorry. Including IoT and cybercrime, and encryption fundamentals and encrypted DNS as an application of encryption, and then vulnerability reporting programs by APANNIC. And also we had two sponsor talks. One is from Cisco Systems about introduction of their wide variety of security solutions, and also from Spectrum that the National Collaborative Cybersecurity Platform by Canary NREN. So I think we had a good presentations and also a good discussion. So during next APAN meeting, I hope we can gather these quality talks and have similar presentation sessions. So please contact us if you have some good topics about network security. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kasahara-san. Good to see a very active set of sessions there. The next report, I don't believe we have someone from the cloud working group here at this stage. Maybe later. Can I invite Professor Jong-Hun Moon to talk about the APRP?
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. I'm Jong-Moon from KIST in Korea and in charge of APRP working group, which is a policy research platform. The purpose is to build the Asia Big Data Superhighway and the build of the research platform. I will introduce APRP session 1 and 2 and yesterday from 9 to 12:30. The briefly introduce of APRP working group since 2018. The APRP working group initiated in the APAN, the 45th meeting in Singapore. Our final goal is to promote the HPC ecosystem in the Asia Pacific by this platform based on science team technology, and to engage the APAN members in the ASEAN countries. And finally, is toward the setting up an Asia research platform and to become a part of the global research platform. And we had 2 sessions and 9 presentations from 7 countries and accumulated a participant over 50. And the special issue is in the last December, we selected for the 10cc fifth core project, which collaboration with the Korea, Australia, Malaysia, and Pakistan in the title of the building a high bandwidth distributed HPC. Start April 1st for 1 year. And we also expect that this project should be leveraged to jump up to the global trend of which big data era. And we have 1 session keynote speech, which is introduction of NCI Cloud by Andrew Howard. And we have several technical issues. There are the science IoT over science DMG, and the development of the Korea research platform, and AI science and bioscience by Pakistan and Malaysia. And finally, the introduction of a Kolkata Tier 2 Center, the past, the present, and the future by India. And also the reporting the global trend of a big data superhighway and the research platform in the title of research at the speed of a thought, a golden age for the global RNA community by IPSPA. And the several countries updates include ASEAN and Singapore and Malaysia and Pakistan and Korea and Australia. Thank you for your listening and hope to meet face-to-face next time. That's all.
Thank you very much, Professor Moon.
Yeah.
Just a reminder to all panelists, please to send your slides through to the Secretariat for the website. And then for the audience, all of the slides, the links and other information will be on the page that you can then download. Can I invite, I believe, Warwick to talk about the routing working group?
No worries. Can you see the slides?
I can see your slides. Go ahead.
Excellent. So we had two discussions yesterday in the routing working group. One was on the international routing working group, which meets once a month, where we talk through various different issues that we see, from routing paths where traffic within a country will leave to go to the United States or go to another country and then come back to the same country. We talked about people leaking private ASNs or leaking routes that actually are not allocated to them. We looked into some issues where traffic would go from one country to another via one path, but the return path would go a completely different way, and the result in the increase in latency and the impacts that has on research. We talked about the tools that we're using, such as NetSage, Looking Glasses, Ripe Atlas probes, and we talked about that quite a lot. We had a good discussion about some activities that are underway at the moment, and we had 42 people attend that session. Beyond that, we also had a second part of the session, which was talking about a project that's underway in developing a collaborative BGP routing analyzation and diagnostic platform, which is funded by the APANNIC Foundation as well. And it's looking at how we can better improve routing looking glass situations, looking at sharing of routing information, so getting outputs from various different locations, and looking for routing hijacks and leaks and things like that, which is really useful when we're trying to protect each other from various attacks in regards to hijacking. It is an open project where people are able to join. If you're interested, you can email Changqing, whose email address is on the page, or you can reach out to a couple of us and we'll put you in touch with the right people. And that is the update from the routing working group.
Thank you, Warwick. Nice and simple. Great set of activities there. And I believe that also partners with the GNA activities, doesn't it?
That's correct. It's combined in all of it.
Yep, great. Can I invite then for the AI-driven networks working group, Professor Song Wang-Chol?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Just a moment.
I see your slides.
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. I would like to start my report. Actually, this is the second working group meeting in APAN. Our working group is just for sharing the experience about the technical experience for applying the AI technology to networks. These are our co-chairs. We had two sessions on March 9th at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. The first sessions chaired by Shirisa Nagano from NIST, and the second session was chaired by me. And we had 8 presentations, and attendance is 50 for the first session and 29 for the second session. We had 8 presentations, and the first session has 4 presentations. 4 presentations were from 4 countries. First talk was from ESNet from United States. It was about the Hecate. Hecate is just a name for the Greek goddess. They deployed the tool to use the deep reinforcement learning for the network operation, but it is just based on the simulation. Second one is the standard issues about the network automation. third one is given by Yue Jia. She introduced their autonomous network platform based on data-driven intelligence operation. Fourth one is from my lab. We have developed anomaly detection system on Korean. We shared our experience with the network community. It is a second session. We had also 4 talks. The first one is actually our plan for Asia Connect project. We have introduced our plan to develop the system to deploy the intent-based networking system on PIN networks. Second is from Nankai University, China. It was very interesting. Professor Chang had worked based on several data. Their data from Huawei, Tencent, Baidu, Alibaba, and so on. He explained the large-scale cloud services. Third is from Korea, the Mr. Go Ho Young of CodeJ. He has shown the status of the Korean's autonomous network. The last talk was given by Dr. Jill Wei. He introduced their experiment for the network application classification. We had 8 presentations, but they are from only 4 countries. So it is we need to expand the more countries, but I think it is very difficult to do it due to the COVID-19. Then the next time, if we can see offline, I think we can have a more chance. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Song. Excuse me. Can I now invite Idris Suleiman to talk about the 2 sessions that he arranged here? I'm not hearing your audio, Idris. You're muted in Zoom.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Better.
Thank you very much, Marcus, for the opportunity to wrap up our 2 events. Actually, we did another one, which was part of Terry Smith's I Am working group, but we won't discuss much about that, just a little bit of a look. But thank you so much for the opportunity to, for the first time, we had actually 2 firsts. The first one is that we had a facility to, opportunity to present on a training session for bioinformatics. And so that is something that is, I've been told might have been done before, but it hasn't been done more in recent years. So just trying to organize my screen here. I hope it will work. Just a second. But we had the global platform for the analysis of SARS-CoV-2 data and variants. So SARS-CoV-2 is the virus that is causing COVID. And I really think that it is still high time for any organizations to still be mindful of the impact or likelihood of the COVID. So can you see my slide?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, we had 2 trainers for this event, and both of them are very well qualified in their fields. And what they presented is a platform that is really a very global platform, but the one that they have developed is to suit to the conditions initially in Australia, but now can also be implemented in the region, and it's called the Galaxy platform. So what Galaxy is, it's a hosted web accessible platform that lets you conduct accessible, reproducible, and transparent computational biological research. And it's an open source platform, and it has very large, last count is just a little bit over 1,100 bioinformatic tools, which comprises also many types, including some things that you might have heard, just visualization, but also some things that are more specific, like annotation, genome assembly, and so on. So we very much thrilled to be able to have that training at the APAN platform, because we are able to introduce it to many universities and research institutions that have not yet been covered. Yeah, we were very pleased that we had more than 45 people for our session. And the session covers, as you expect, basic, immediate, and advanced training. But the most interesting thing was that everybody stuck around until the very end. So I'm based in Canberra, sorry. I should introduce myself. So, I'm Idris Suleiman. I'm the research, e-research network for Southeast Asia coordinator. I'm very passionate about promoting bioinformatics, because I believe that this is one of the science that could not only save us out of this pandemic, but also enable us to guard against the future. So as I was saying, we had a lot of people who were just so keen that they stuck around until the very end, which is, which altogether it was almost 5 hours, 5.5 hours. So that was that. So we were very pleased with the outcome of that. Another activity that we had is to do with something that might seem to be related to what you have done, what you have set up in APAN, and that is the open data and sharing working group. But actually, what we had is more on open science. So that open science is one that is, in a way, can be seen to be broader than open data, because depending on what definitions you follow, open science would cover open access, open data, open source, and open peer review. Now, open peer review is one that is really has helped a lot of scientists to deal with the pandemic, in the sense that the publication cycles is such that in many cases it takes 6 months, a year, even 2 years to get things published. So yeah, we were very pleased to able to have this accelerating the paradigm shift towards open science and data sharing in the pandemic times and beyond. So that was our session on Wednesday, which also it was actually the last session of the day, but it meant that in Australia it sort of ended up in being 10 o'clock in the evening. But most people didn't mind that because they found that the speakers and also the discussions, not only between the speakers, but also with audience and the people who are on the panel was very, very lively. So the major themes in open science, which I say, you know, it covers open data, open source, open peer review, is really coming from three angles or three perspectives. That is the open science communications, or open science platform and communities. And we talked about the open science resources. So we're very, very lucky to have the set of panel members who are very well qualified from each of these three areas. Some of them, of course, overlap. So we had the first one being Julian Cribb, who's a co-founder of a new council called Council for the Human Future, but he's also a former public communications section of the prime research body in Australia called the Commonwealth Scientific Industrial Research Organisation. They had this program called the National Science Awareness. So he came from a very much a communication specialist perspective, and he's actually been doing a lot of work at the UN level, also promoting open science as a way in which to not only deal with the pandemic, but also deal with what he calls the mega threats facing the world, things like climate change and global pollution of oceans and so forth. So he very much set the scene on how important the open science is, you know, to scientists, but also to policymakers and society. But then to set the terms more firmly on the policy side, we had Professor Ginny Barber, who is the co-lead of Office of Scholarly Communications at the Queensland University of Technology. And she comes from a medical background, but also she's actually part of a very, very solid organization, which is called the Open Access Australasia. And this organization has been doing a lot of work with data custodians or librarians who are now becoming much more savvy in the digital collection, and also in being able to connect with each other, and also connecting different scientists of different areas. So that was very, very interesting. And also she was very happy to report that in Australia, we have the chief scientist, Dr. Kathy Foley, who is now actually putting on open science as one of her 5 priorities, you know, in science in Australia. So there will be a major policy decision coming out, and we're very lucky to have Professor Barber giving us some insights of what constitute those policies. And then we had also a Professor Yatna Supriyatna, who is director of a newly created Indonesia Science Fund. And so this is a very much an independent body, a part of the Indonesian Academy of Science, that is more or less channeling a lot of the international support for scientific activities in Indonesia. So that was very interesting to hear his perspective from the financial side. How is open science, particularly in developing countries, being funded? And then not to forget that we really do need to bring in this perspective from the younger generations who are coming up from the ground up. So in a more bottom-up approach. We have Saranjit Kaur Bogal, who is from India. She has just not long ago founded this group together with various engineers called the Research Software Engineers Asia Group. which is part of the Open Life Science program. And this is a very, very comprehensive program funded, amongst others, by the European Union. And along the same vein, we had another scientist by the name of Sandersan Oni. He's actually based at University of New South Wales in Sydney, but comes from an Indonesian background. But he has already been active in the area of open science and founded the Southeast Asian Network for Open Science. And that's already sponsored by the International Science Council. And last but not least, he actually came up with a lot of ideas about how to actually practice open science in the developing countries. Sometimes he says you don't really need to call it open science. It's just implementing science and scientific methods and scientific procedures, and being able to actually ask what the specific needs are. But he also underlines the importance of national policy on open science and all the other components of it, being open data, open source, open peer review, and so on. So the key point is that there's a need for bottom-up and top-down approach. So last but not least, and we were very, very lucky to have Dr. Kostas Glinos, who's the head of the Open Science Unit at the Director General of Research and Innovation. This is like a kind of like the ministry of the European Union that is dealing with research and innovation, not just the university, but also in the private sector. And he's been in the field for more than 20 years. So, and he heads a lot of an activity that's called the Open Science Cloud Hub, which is really going to be, it's very, very ambitious to create a hub for all disciplines. So not just hard science, but also social science. And he more or less agreed with the various other speakers in terms of the bottom up, needing to adapt the approach to developing countries' perspective. But also is very pleased to be able to engage with Professor Barber on the policy front, because he says that many countries in the region needs to also have a stronger policy, explicit stronger policy on open science. But he's very, very much focused on saying the need to change the culture of science, scientific practice, which is to reform the way scientists are being assessed. So that's his big point. So anyway, there's so much detail there, and perhaps, it's best if people are interested in this area to have a look at the video and also the material. Each one of them came up with a presentation, and they will be lodged at the APAN53 website. So thank you very much for providing us the platform to talk about open science. And I'm very much pleased with the developments happening at the Open Data Working Group, which I also participated in. And certainly I've already communicated the paper that has been developed by Marcus, yourself, and others, Virachai, at the Open Data Sharing Working Group, which is the So anyway, that is very, very important to have that open, Asia Pacific Data Working Group, Asia Pacific Data Commons that was proposed. We will support that. So thank you so much, Marcus. I really appreciate the opportunity.
To move on, okay. Can I invite Professor Hui Wang to talk about the IPv6 project? I see your slides. But I don't hear you yet.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jessie Hui Wang from Tsinghua University. The workshop I chaired is the updates of joint IPv4 and IPv6 research project. This session is on Tuesday. This session is to share some work related to the project on network management of the IPv4 and IPv6 internet. This project started in June 2020. It involves 23 organizations from 14 countries, and some of them are APAN members. We have had sessions at APAN 50, 51, and 52. At this APAN meeting, our session had 3 talks from 3 speakers. About 50 participants joined this session. The first talk was to share the overall progress of this international project. Basically, with the contribution of our partners, we started the test platform for network management and monitoring and enabled some important services. And the data we collected has been able to be shared among our partners. The second talk was about our research achievement of one task of this project, which is about finding looking glass sets from the internet to facilitate internet measurement jobs. This paper has been published in Connect 2021, and it got Best Paper nomination. The result from this work has been published online, and we believe this work can help researchers and operators better understand the internet. The third talk is also a research output from this project. This talk is given by Professor Jilong Wang. He introduced the concept of a cyberspace map, and he argued that we need to define the coordination system, dimension, and time standard for a cyberspace, which is a very new word. And this new world is not only a mirror of our physical world, so we have to define something for it. We got some questions from the audience, which is very helpful for our collaboration. We hope we can have a new session in the next APAN meeting. We will invite more related talks and share our collaboration experience with the APAN meetings, with the APAN community. That's all for this session. It's a very short summary. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wang. I believe, yes, we have an apology from the Research Software Engineering BOF, but just quickly to summarize their activities is supporting the community of people where we have network engineers taking care of our infrastructure for connectivity. We also have a large community of software developers, engineers, integrators, and others who build the tools that support our research and so on. And there is increasing interest globally in a community of practice around this workforce. Professor Dr. Michelle Barker and her colleagues in India and I believe the Middle East and a few other places are building a research software engineering Asia community, and welcome participation from many of the communities here. That concludes the very rapid fire summary of all of the sessions that we had at APAN 53. While this is basically my last chance to quickly speak, I do want to just thank the wonderful hardworking teams, the local team, the technical team in Bangladesh, also the program and technical committees of APAN, ably led by Andrew Howard and Jamie Gillespie, who helped immensely with bringing much of this together and assisting as required. And also to thank particularly Liana and Sean, who I'm sure have been chasing many of you over the last few weeks for slides and other contact points. I would now like to invite the Honourable Chair of the APAN 53 Local Organising Committee, Professor Dr. Dil Afroza Begum, to please provide her comments. Can I pass it to you?
Thank you. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, depending on where you are located now. Finally, we are at the closing ceremony of APAN53. I am very grateful to all the APAN program and technical committee members for extending their wholehearted support and assistance in making the event flawless. I owe to the full APAN community for helping me in organizing the event successfully. However, I must mention names of Liana, Sean, Marcus, Jamie, and Andrew for their extraordinary contribution. In total, 1,600 participants registered in APAN53, which is a good number, I believe. But I also should mention, in some of these sessions, participation was not as per expectation. The probable reasons might be free of cost registration and therefore not realizing the value of it. Secondly, to some participants, virtual participation might not be that much comfortable. For future APAN conferences, I need to look into these issues and might plan the program little differently, addressing those issues. Another slight limitation of this program that I want to mention is little delay in starting the inaugural program and also delay in starting of first keynote speaker's presentation. Inaugural was on 8 March, which coincided the International Women's Day. There were numerous programs ongoing all over Dhaka city, making Women's Day, which created huge traffic movement and subsequent traffic jam that caused little late arrival of the chief guest and the keynote speaker, though they started for the venue at right time. We apologize for this unwanted delay and urge the APAN community to accept my apology. I would like to wrap up by lodging a request to APAN to allow us hosting an in-person event in future. I pledge that the APAN community will really love to visit here and enjoy the envious hospitality of the people of Bangladesh. I am extended all the good wishes to China, host country of APAN54. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Gulafroza Begum. Can I invite the chair of APAN, Professor Jilong Wong, to the virtual podium?
Hello, everyone. So I would like to express my appreciation to all of you, to our local team, and to all session chairs, and to APANNIC, to program committee, to our sponsors. Thank you very much for your great contribution. It's really a successful meeting, and it's very exciting and interesting. Yeah, I think we should cheers for our achievement. And by the end of the meeting, I would also like to propose a suggestion. That is, besides we talk in the meeting, how about we also publish something after the meeting? For example, the top 10 network front-end technologies, our vision about Meta, and so on. So after the meeting, I think we may contact any of you and for interview, and we will publish what you say on our APAN newsletters. So please support, and thank you very much. And Marcus, I think the next business is also met, right?
It is indeed you to talk for 54.
Yes. So Okay, sorry. So now let's turn our attention to next APAN meeting, the APAN54. For APAN54, it will be hosted by China. And it will open from this August from 22 to 26. For APAN54, the venue is in Jinan City, Shandong Province, China. And I'm not sure any people here ever visited Jinan? Is there any people? So for Jinan, it's a very beautiful city. It has another beautiful name. It's a spring water city, the city of spring water. And that means for Jinan, it has many spring water landscapes. So once you land in Jinan, I think you not only can occur his old culture, but also many beautiful views. And the weather in Jinan in August is usually on 29 to 32. I think it's a pretty comfort. And besides, the transportation is very convenient because Jinan, it has international airports, and the transportation in the city also well developed. The subway, the bus, the taxi is very easy to get to anywhere. So for APAN54, until now, it's proposed to a hybrid meeting. And the final decision will be made this May according to the travel policy. So let's wish we can meet face-to-face offline if the epidemic will get reduced. And for if we had hybrid meeting, the registration online will be free, and the offline registration will, according to the rate, $400 early bird and $450 after early bird. And the students and fellow will get discount. So these are the draft logos. Frankly speaking, personally, I'm not very satisfied on this. And so we will continue to optimize the logos. So as I hope we can just embody the following elements, like the 25-year anniversary of EPAN, and the network technology, research and education, Chinese traditional culture, and Jinan city culture, and so on. So once we have new logo design, we will just let you know. And also, we will provide APAN54 banners, and we will have option. For example, the day and the night of Jinan City. And so this background is just some draft design. And finally, let's have a video of Jinan City. And That's all. Thank you very much.
Jinan, which borders on Mountain Tai in the south and the Yellow River in the north, thrived on its abundance of artesian springs, for which it enjoys global popularity. Mountains, springs, lakes, rivers, and the city itself make an integral whole. The 9 mountains outside the city dot along the Yellow River in various shapes. The 72 famous springs crisscross the landscape. Daming Lake, the #1 spring-fed lake in China, is a jade embedded in the city. The Yellow River, the mother river of the Chinese nation, runs through the city. Viewed from afar, lotus and weeping willows are thriving across the city, imprinting the enchanting landscape on visitors' mind. Jinan, a city with profound culture and history, was also the cradle for Longshan culture, an important source of the Chinese culture that dates back to 4,600 years ago. With a time-honored history over 2,600 years, Jinan has witnessed the passing on and the flourishing of its traditional culture over generations. Jinan, a vibrant city, has an area of more than 10,000 square kilometers and almost 10 million permanent residents. The regional GDP exceeding 1 trillion yuan makes it a mega city. The city features good location and transportation. It is the place where China's 5 major economic circles converge, the capital of the only coastal province in the Yellow River Basin, and a hub between Beijing and Shanghai. A sprawling high-speed railway network connects with 254 cities across the country. The 1.5-hour high-speed railway service covers 400 million plus people. Jinan Yaojiang International Airport is an important transportation hub in China and will upgrade its flight zone to 4F class by 2025. Colleges and universities build a diversified talent pool. Abundant medical resources and services safeguard people's health. In 2020, Jinan won its 3rd consecutive National Civilized City title and China Benchmark City for International Business Environment, and was ranked as one of the top 10 cities in China with healthy and wealthy life. Welcome to Jinan.
Okay. Welcome to Jinan.
Thank you, Professor Wang. We hope that we can have a face-to-face meeting there.
Yeah.
We'd all like to meet again in person. This concludes the General Assembly for the APAN53 meeting. There are still some sessions happening after this one. And I also want to call out to the people, amazingly, who are still awake in the US and New Zealand. You're doing very well. I look forward to seeing you all virtually, preferably face-to-face at the APAN54 meeting. Thank you all and goodbye.
Bye-bye.